One of the ways that Republicans are able to take advantage of the American public is that they only tell them half of a story. I think a great example of that, of course, is with their new big, beautiful bill, right? They're out there trying to convince us every day that we're not cutting Medicaid. We're not cutting the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. And that's because the bill actually doesn't say cut those programs. Instead, what the bill says is House committees that are in charge of those programs cut funding. So it's a linguistic trick, but again, it's only half the story because they say, no, there's nowhere in the bill it says cut Medicaid. Because you're not telling Medicaid it's being cut, you're telling the committee that runs the funding for it that they have to cut that much. So yeah, half the story. Another great example is with regulations, literally regulations on anything. Republicans will tell you night and day, and they have for decades, that regulations are costing you money. You're paying more for appliances, you're paying more for automobiles because of energy efficiency standards. And yes, that is technically true. But they always forget to tell you the other side of the story. And the other side is that while you're paying more upfront for these energy efficient appliances or automobiles or whatever it is, you're saving even more in energy costs. So the amount you're saving outweighs the upfront increase in price, so you do end up saving money in the long run. And right now, the Trump administration is cutting 12 different energy efficiency programs here in the United States, energy efficiency standards for basic appliances, because they're telling us it's going to save you $11 billion a year because it costs more money for the companies to make these products more energy efficient. So they pass that increase on to you, just like the tariffs. And now you're going to save $11 billion a year because they don't have to make them energy efficient. Again, that's only half the story. Energy efficient appliances save you money each year on your power bill, your gas bill, all of those things. So undoing those standards obviously is going to raise your utility prices, right? Yes. And according to a new analysis, you're saving $11 billion on these purchases, but your utility bills, the utility bills of America across the board, with the repeal of these 12 energy efficiency standards, utility bills will rise by $43 billion per year. So you're saving $11 billion up front on the price, but it's costing us $43 billion on the back end. So that is a net loss of $32 billion per year. But it's not a loss for the companies. The companies are going to make more money because I promise you, they're not going to lower the prices. Everybody is already accustomed to paying the prices that they pay now for appliances that are energy efficient. And if these companies can now make the same product, but they don't have to put in the energy efficiency standards and it saves them money, the prices will remain the same. Right? They're not going to lower the price of a dishwasher by $200 per dishwasher when people are already used to paying that extra $200. That ain't going to happen. We've seen that time and time again. So that $11 billion in savings is purely hypothetical, and it will never materialize. So it's not a $32 billion loss. It is in fact the full $43 billion loss. To put that in other words, Donald Trump, because this was a executive order from him cutting these 12 regulations, Donald Trump increased our collective utility bills by $43 billion a month, or a year, for no reason. There was no reason to do this. Absolutely no reason whatsoever. This is just plain stupid. But he did it because he's mad that most of these energy efficiency standards, not all of them, but most, were put in place by Democrats. And by God, if a Democrat does something, even if it saves you billions of dollars a year, it must be undone because he just hates Democrats that much. So get used to higher electricity bills, folks. And I hope owning the libs was worth it for you. Thanks for watching, everybody, and if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.